Welcome to the Recharge Podcast, where we discuss everything life behaviors, experiences, decisions, and outcomes. Join us every Wednesday for different topics of discussion in everyday living and how to be a better you. Now, here is your host, Daryl, a.k.a. Quiet One.
Welcome to the Recharge.
Yes. Welcome to the Recharge, where we talk about various topics we encounter in our daily living. Recharge you to think, act, and decide how to be a better you. We talk, you listen, you decide. Today, my co-host Christine.
Hi, everybody.
And I are going to talk about or discuss the subject actually of karma.
Mm-hmm.
Is karma a good thing or a bad thing?
That's the question.
And what determines karma? So what is karma? It is defined broadly as such a force considered as affecting the events of one's life. So basically, you reap what you sow, or what goes around comes around. And I also found, like in Wikipedia, it defines karma as action, work, or deed. The term also refers to a spiritual principle of cause and effect. So our topic today, entitled, You Are Your Karma. You are your karma. It's possible most of us don't even give much thought to this. Because why? Because we are unaware or distracted by our lives. Our lives seem to take over. So it took me many years to understand this. What it really meant to be aware of myself and my actions. And I'm sure we can all think of things or some things we've done and didn't realize the consequences of it.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
So until all of a sudden life reveals itself and it shows us our consequences of what we've done with our actions. So our actions have consequences. They may not show up today, but it will most certainly in the future. So therefore, it is so important to treat people how you want to be treated. And so, I say, have you ever thought to yourself why a certain thing is happening in your life? And you really don't know the answer to it. Well, it's because you are the bearer of your actions. What do I mean by that? This requires your attention to learn and find solutions. Your thoughts and attitudes are the direct manifestation of how your life turns out. So it's imperative to be aware of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a quote by Robin Sharma, a Canadian writer. He says, "Every thought plants a seed to one of your actions. Every action, good or bad, will yield a consequence." So the person who takes good steps every day cannot help but reap a harvest of awesome results. This also reminds me of what Zig Ziglar said. He's an American writer or American author. He says about this thing about life. He says, life is an echo. What you send out comes back. So really, think about this. Really think about this for just a moment.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely reminds me of Matthew 7. And it talks about this very thing, which is karma. And it says, "Do not judge, or you too will be judged. For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." So it definitely reminds me of what we put out, we're going to get back.
Right. For sure. So, I'm thinking about this. like everyday manifestations of karma. Here's some of those everyday manifestations of karma.
And things that we just don't think about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just every day.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. Here's one I can think of. So if you don't clean your house, it's going to be dirty.
Yeah, it's going to be dirty, and you're going to fill out a sink, and you can't invite people over.
Nope. You're gonna have all this stuff piled up on you.
You have dirty laundry. You have dirty drawers. Just not good at all.
it's not good. So I mean, you don't want people coming to your house looking at the dirtiness of or how you're keeping yourself.
That's right.
So
another one is if you don't manage stress, it will affect your health in some way.
Yes, stress is huge.
Huge.
I mean, sometimes it's hidden, and sometimes you got to identify where those things are coming from. You know, like I know when my body tends to shut down, especially in my back, my upper back and my lower back tends to have that ability to know that I'm in a stress mode. Mm-hmm. So I have to take the time to chill out and go back and look at what I'm doing so I can relieve that stress.
Yeah, absolutely. How about if you work hard, you'll achieve success. So, you know, I think of people that are working, students that are working for a scholarship. At some point, they keep grinding, they're going to get that scholarship.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Stay focused, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's one, too, I thought about. So kind of caveat about stress, but you don't take care of your health, you're going to have health problems. I mean, this is huge. You got to take care of yourself because you only get one body. And you got to really, think about what you're putting inside your body.
Absolutely.
What you're eating, and you got to give yourself time also to rest.
Absolutely.
So you can relieve yourself.
How about just the simple act of breathing?
Oh, yeah. And that's cool. I've learned in meditation. I was doing a meditation the other day, and it was teaching different breathing techniques in meditation. I didn't even know that, but it helped me a whole lot.
Yeah, that definitely could help to manage the stress in your life when you notice those sensations.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. How about if you cultivate love and nurture your relationships, they will become more intimate and you'll be closer to those relationships.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. How about this one, even opposite of that? So if you don't cultivate love in your home, you're going to have division.
Yeah.
You're going to have chaos.
True. Yeah.
Because we talked about this in our episode number 4 about, what is love. So you got to really be mindful of what you're cultivating in your life when it comes to loving within your household.
But knowing what that love is.
Right. Knowing what that
Not
love is.
a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yep.
It is action.
Got it.
So another thing, too, I thought about is, teaching and training our children to have character. Why do we do that? Because with this character, they're going to take out into the world and they're going to develop hardworking characteristics and become law-abiding citizens.
Right. Speaking of that, that's cool. Yeah. We want that. We want our kids to have character. The right type of character, that is. Mm-hmm. So here's a big one, too, that I thought about. So if you don't vote,
oh yeah,
you can't expect policies to change.
No.
This is huge. You see something and you don't like it, within your state or local agencies or state or local governments, or even the federal government.
Or even in your job.
Right, even in your job. So if you don't...
that's actually applicable as far as voting on the job, but
well,
being participating in the leadership,
right. Okay, yeah, that's another, yeah. But if you don't vote, you can't really say anything. I mean, you can't have a seat at the table if you're not going to vote.
Right, exactly. Another thing too, as far as finances, if you don't master your finances, get a plan for them, you'll wind up being enslaved by them.
Yeah,
that's something that we actually had to work on.
Yeah, we did.
And it required for us to look at our finances, and we had to live simply.
Yeah,
there's just some things that we could not do, but that we were okay with just living simply.
Right, and that also, I'm gonna jump on that one too, because I mean, don't buy stuff, or you shouldn't buy stuff you don't really need. Buy what you need. Don't stack up on stuff because you think something's going to be gone. This universe is so big and so vast that we have enough resources to go around. So you don't really need to, try to hoard stuff, keep stuff into yourself. So, or try to keep it to yourself, basically. So that's a good point.
And another simple thing, I'm actually picking up gardening, so I'm a novice in that. And I know, we all know that if you don't water your plants, they're going to die.
Yep.
You don't fertilize them, give them the food that they need, they won't grow to flourish.
Right, right. Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so we can agree karma has cause and effect because we gave so many different
day-to-day karma that we just don't think about what we're creating.
Yep. And it's also beneficial to be present. So I'm going to say this. Ask this question. Are you aware of what consequences you're yielding in your life? Do you even know? So here we go. Here's some practicals for producing better karma outcomes. Number 1, pay attention to your conscious and intuition.
Yeah, this is huge because, our bodies are made perfectly. We have systems in place that our bodies run on to make it efficient and for us to have, health. So we also have our intuition and our conscience to help with our internal compass of right and wrong and in our guidance. And if we don't follow that, we'll wind up getting to a place of uncertainty and we're just of being lost and just not knowing where we're going. Just in a simple example of, if for some of us that were in relationships, the signs have been there, and your conscience and your intuition tells you something's not right.
Right.
And when you go against it and you go against what you're feeling and thinking, you wind up getting confused and lost and reaping a harvest of heartache and pain and suffering.
Yep.
So just paying attention to the karma, paying attention to the conscience and intuition and letting that guide you and not getting yourself in a situation that was being told to you.
Right. You saw the signs.
You saw the signs and you didn't do anything about it.
Didn't pay attention. Yeah, for sure. So you have to be aware of your thoughts. In real time, you're also, or should I say, as you're in your situation or circumstances, you need to think before you act. Because it's never too late to change your actions. When you can see something that's happening right then and there, you can go back and make that change. So number 2, be an active participant in creating your karma. Have a plan of action and be consistent in what you're wanting to accomplish. Because sometimes we can get paralyzed in life, right? And to be paralyzed, you either are living in your past regrets or you're worried about the future. So you have to stay in the now. Think about how you're going to manage your life right now, right at this moment. No place else but right now. You want to notice how you're showing up in your conversations, your attitude, as you're in that conversation, your body language, your thoughts and your feelings. You want to connect.
So as you're noticing how you're showing up, there's a decision that needs to be made. And as you're making these choices, the decisions allow your conscience and your intuition to guide you.
Right.
And you always want to make choices that are going to be beneficial.
Yep. Yeah.
Think long term. What would this act do long term? And then discipline your conduct accordingly.
Right. Number 3, which I think is a big one that I think about, be a student learner of your life. Stop the madness, right? Break the cycle. Your history will continue to repeat itself until you learn from your experiences and take steps to do something differently. So, man, I think about when I was young. I was married before. I got divorced at a young age. Didn't understand what that was. You know, I grew up with no father, as some of you know, that I shared in my previous on my website and also on my first episode. And I didn't know what it was like to be married. I didn't know what it meant for a man and a wife to be together. I didn't understand that process, and so I ended up in divorce because I didn't understand. I didn't know, and that even goes to what it meant to love and understand that, and getting the help that I needed. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't understand that. You know, coming from a broken home, and that just made things even worse for me. But I learned, and from that process of learning, from that, I took the steps to break the cycle, you know, in my marriage now. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, me too. Also, just coming from a broken family, you know, I don't hold anything against my parents. You know, they did what they thought was best at the time. But I realized when I was living my life and I wanted to have a marriage and have a family of my own that I needed to do something different because I did not want to repeat the same cycle. Mm-hmm. So I had to humble myself and learn what it was. And I learned how to have this spiritual relationship, you know, and God helped me with that. Mm-hmm. My relationship to Christ helped me with that. And so I had to learn. I humbled myself. And also in the beginning stages, we had people in our life to help us, mm-hmm. like, you know, that we were developing relationships with. Right.
So you have to learn from your past. And you can also use other people to help you. As an example, watching them, you know. You're not alone in this process. So now,
it's time for Call to Action. This is where you decide on the takeaways from the message.
Yes. Call to action. What are you going to take away from the message? We know progression of karma begins in the consciousness. We are creating karma all the time, whether we are aware of it or not. It would be beneficial to pay attention to your conscious and intuition. Be an active participant in creating your karma for the good, because you know, or because you have the power. You know, you have the power to change your life. No one else is responsible to you. You have that power. If you don't, you can't blame anybody but yourself. So be the student learner of your life. Recognize you don't know everything, because we don't know everything. And that's okay. Open yourself up and get rid of your pride and have the humility to learn. Karma is a good thing based off your choices. You have to decide, or you can decide. Like always, I hope you will take this podcast message further by sharing it with others. And if you like what you hear, please click the subscribe button and stay connected and receive up-to-date episodes. So until next time, I say stay charged up
and stay in peace.
You've been listening to the Recharge Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes or YouTube to get new, fresh weekly episodes. For more, please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or visit our website at therecharge.net. Until next time, we talk, you listen, you decide.